Howdy there, dirt bike family. So today we are back on the 83 ATC 70 build. Now when I left off with this project, I just got done stretching the frame 3 inches forward on it, and in the meantime I did kind of the boring stuff. I rewired the Chinese motor because it was a disaster, and actually got this thing running, and I've ridden it a little bit, and not gonna lie, I've pretty much fallen in love with this little project. So that being said, we're gonna take this thing to the next level, and I've got a whole pile of parts right there sitting on the bench. New plastics, new seat foam, got a seat cover coming for it, and point over there, right there, that box right there is clear full of paint supplies. So I'm gonna tear this thing down this episode and do some body work on the tank, and we're gonna paint the tank, front forks, and the frame, and get this thing looking new again. But before I do, let me show you what I've been doing to this project since we left off. So here you can kind of see what I had to do to mount the electrical and the electric start. So there's the battery. I actually use a Honda battery tie down out of, well actually this came out of that bike factory when it was a 4-stroke 250. Now that it's a 500 2-stroke, I don't need the electric start. So I used the battery out of it, the bungee tie down, built a bracket, welded it to the frame here with a plate, mounted the start solenoid here, cleaned up all the wiring, and zip tied it to the frame. Comes over, starter switch, and kill switch. But let's go ahead and get this thing tore down, and we'll get right back after. There's the frame. She's all stripped down to bare nothing. And now over here we got a whole pile of parts, motor, axle, tires, plastics, and all the things that go along with it. So I guess the next step is go ahead and get this thing degreased really heavily and pressure wash it off and get all the goobers off of it from 1983 to now. And I'll get her sanded down, squirt a little high build primer sealer on it, and sand that down, and then throw a little paint on it. So all that's left is the rest, I guess. Good morning. So yesterday I was working on the ATC 70 frame. See it right there? And I got it all stripped down, cleaned up, and the majority of it sanded, and I actually did some body work where I stretched the frame a little bit. I got tired of it flopping around on my motorcycle stand, so I actually built a pedestal to hold the frame. So where we're at now is I need to finish sanding the front forks and get them ready to shoot some primer on it. And if the weather holds out today outside, which fingers crossed it will, I'll pull this thing outside, bury it in some sealer primer, high build sealer primer, and we'll get to sanding on this thing and get some color put back on it. we got the first coat of red on the old girl, and man, I'll tell you what, it looks pretty. I really like the color that he chose for me. So, if you guys are in southern Utah and looking for automotive paint, CC Auto Parts in Kanab, Napa dealership there, he's awesome. Go talk to Ryan, he's your man if you're looking for automotive paint. I actually used Martin Senior paint on this one, and I've used it a couple times on several different things, but man, this stuff lays out real nice. So I'll go out here and show you what we got as far as first coat so far. I mean, that is not too bad for painting it out in the elements. This little bugger's gonna look pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and let that coat flash real quick and pour another coat on it, and we'll be well on our way to putting this little bugger back together. Good morning, DBF people. It's a beautiful Sunday morning out there. Sun shining, birds are chirping, happy black bean soup, and we're back on the ATC 70. See, there it is. Spent a little time getting the rear axle put in it, brakes and everything, and kind of cleaning up off camera because that's kind of just boring stuff. So today we are going to start on the fuel tank repair, and let me show you what we got to get done. So there's the tank that actually came off of the three-wheeler, and as you can see, it's got a few dents and dings in it, and it's just, you know, I mean, it's got some more wounds on it from 1983. What do you expect? So I'm gonna strip this thing down and do a little body work on it, but let me show you what I have found underneath this thing that's not just wonderful. So at some point, I'm guessing the inside of this tank had some water sitting in it, which, you know, can't imagine, steel tank and water, it's gonna rust. So it's got some pinholes in it, and somebody has applied some sort of putty. I don't know what it is, it's not body filler. I don't know what it is, but it is rock hard. So I'm gonna have to spend some time grinding that off of there. And I've got some stuff to reseal the inside of this tank. But first off, I gotta get that off of there, get all the body work done. So let's get on it. There she is, all stripped down. Got all the red paint off of it, and got all the stickers off of it. Biggest thing, got all the garbage on the inside of the tank. Let me show you what they were trying to cover up. See those rust holes? All the way along the bottom of that seam right there. That's what they were trying to cover up. So, we are going to seal those up after I get all the body work done, and let me show you what I'm going to use. So what I have here is the Port 15 motorcycle tank repair kit. This is a 3-part kit. It comes with some degreaser and some metal prep, and then an actual sealer that goes on the inside of this tank. I've used this before in the past, more in a automotive style, but I see no reason at all why it wouldn't work in a off-road ATV tank. I mean, metal tank is a metal tank. So I'm gonna go ahead, get some body work done on this thing, and get some dents popped out of it with my stud gun and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll get some primer on this thing and see if we can make it pretty again. Well, there you have it. Got a few dents popped out. They popped out really nice. That's no metal finish by any means, but I think it'll be just perfect. Add a little bit of mud to it and make it smooth again. So I got my mud out. Let's get her mixed up and slapped on. What's up, guys? So got all the body work done on the tank for the CT70 and getting ready to put the POR 15 tank sealer in this thing. So what I've done, since I've got all the body work done, is I put a good, couple layers of masking tape on it, because that's going to do two things. I'm going to have to roll this thing around and let it sit on its side, and I don't want to mess up the body work I just did. And for two, I'm not sure what this chemical is going to do to the body work I've already done. So, the tape will just do a little bit extra protection basically on the tank. So let's get started on cleaning this thing out and see if we can get this thing coated. All right, so this thing's been in here for about 35-40 minutes. Shaking it up, and let's see what comes out of it. Oh yeah. Holy cow. That's some pretty nasty stuff. Wow. That's impressive. Patches on. So I guess in theory all that really does is hold the sealant inside of the tank and just creates that much of a stronger bond. So I'm gonna go ahead, let that cure overnight, and then go ahead and dump the rest of the sealant in the tank, and we'll continue this tomorrow. What's up, guys? So we got the tank here and got all of the, I don't know what you call it, the coating from the POR 15 inside of the tank. And the way they want you to do it is you dump it in, seal off all the holes, and rotate it like every 45 minutes. So I did that. I spared you on that because that stuff's really boring. But let me show you how it turned out. See how that's all silver glittery whatever? Yeah, that's the actual coating that I put down inside the tank. So like I said, I rotated this thing around about, 20 times today, and got it all coated up nice and thick, especially on these bottom corners where it was rusted. So we're to the point now where I need to put a little bit of high build primer on this thing and sand it down so we can paint it. Well, got the first coat of color on the tank, and I'm not no painter, never confessed to be, but it looks pretty darn good. Let me show you what we got going on. Now, it's just a lot like watching paint dry, so we're gonna let this flash, get some more coats put on it, and we'll see you after that happens, I guess. All right, got her all painted, got 3 coats of color on it, and it turned out mighty fine. So let me show you what we got going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry, and tomorrow I'm probably gonna start assembling this thing, but you guys are gonna have to wait for another episode. So anyhow, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.